So let's talk about something pretty crucial for anyone doing business in Romania. What happens when someone owes you money? You're not just sitting there waiting for a payment. You're actually at the very beginning of a specific structured process. And honestly, understanding this process, that's the real difference between getting paid and just having to write it all off as a loss. Today, we're going to break down the playbook for successfully getting back what's yours. Okay, so where do you even begin? If you're the one trying to collect, the whole situation can feel, well, pretty overwhelming. But the good news is, Romanian law actually lays out a really clear, structured path. So let's walk through that game plan step by step. Before we dive into strategy, let's get a feel for the playing field. This isn't just about making angry phone calls or, firing off strongly worded emails. The debt system in Romania is a proper legal framework, and knowing the rules is always the first step to winning the game. So what do we actually mean by debt recovery here? Well, officially, it's the legal and administrative process for a creditor to get paid. And the single most important document that runs the whole show is the Romanian Civil Procedure Code. Seriously, think of it as the ultimate rulebook. Every single step you can take is defined right in there. And really, it all boils down to two key players. You've got the creditor, that's the person who is owed the money, and the debtor, the one who owes it. Getting a solid handle on your specific rights and responsibilities in whichever role you're in is absolutely fundamental to this whole thing. Right from the very start, you're facing a huge choice, a real fork in the road. Do you take the amicable path and focus on negotiation? Or do you gear up and go down the legal path, straight to court? Look, the amicable route is almost always going to be cheaper and faster. And hey, it might not totally burn bridges. The legal path, on the other hand, well, it's a lot more complex. It costs more, and it takes a whole lot more time. Let's dig into that first option a bit more, the amicable path. This is all about trying to find a solution without ever setting foot in a courtroom. It's the preferred first step for a really good reason. It's just more efficient, it's cost-effective, and it's way less confrontational for everyone involved. So what does this actually look like in practice? Well, you've got a few different tools you can use. It could be as simple as opening up a direct line of communication, or maybe creating a structured payment plan. You could even bring in a neutral third party, a mediator, to help you out, or formalize a totally new mutual agreement. The goal is always the same: find a solution that doesn't involve a lawsuit. And this is a really crucial point. The Romanian legal system doesn't just allow you to do this, it actively encourages it. This means trying to find an amicable solution first isn't just good business practice, it also shows you acted in good faith, which looks really good if you do end up in court later on. But what happens when just talking it out fails? That's when you have to pivot to the formal court-based process. Welcome to the legal path. And believe me, it has its own very specific rules and stages you absolutely have to follow. You got to think of the legal path not as one single event, but more like a sequence of mandatory stages. It kicks off with a formal notification, then moves to actually filing the claim. Then you have the court proceedings themselves, and finally, the judgment. You have to get each step right before you can even think about moving on to the next one. Okay, let's zoom in on that very first step, this amate. This isn't just a friendly reminder, it's a formal, mandatory legal notice. And the timeline here is completely non-negotiable. You must wait 15 days after the debtor receives it before you can file a claim. If you jump the gun on this, you could derail your entire case before it even gets started. It's that serious. Now, a full-blown court proceeding can be total overkill, not to mention expensive for smaller amounts of money. But here's the good news. Romanian law actually has a built-in shortcut. There's a streamlined, much more efficient process designed specifically for small claims. And this right here is the magic number. If your claim is for 10,000 euros or less, you qualify for this simplified small claims procedure. It's designed to be faster and cheaper, which makes it totally worthwhile to go after those smaller debts that you might otherwise just write off as being too much trouble. So, it doesn't matter which path you end up choosing, amicable or legal, you just can't go in unprepared. Your success really depends on having the right toolkit. So let's talk about the expertise and the documentation you absolutely have to have in your corner. While it might be tempting to try and handle this yourself to save a little money, a Romanian lawyer is an absolutely indispensable part of your toolkit. Their job isn't just to stand up and represent you in court. It's to navigate that super complex civil procedure code, advise you on the best strategy right from the get-go, and make sure every single claim is filed perfectly. Yeah,
Going to court does involve costs, and they can vary a lot. You'll be looking at different kinds of fees, from court duties to what you pay your lawyer. But here's the key takeaway. If you win, the court can actually order the debtor to reimburse you for these expenses. That shifts the financial burden right back to them, where it belongs.
All right, we've covered the different paths and the tools you'll need. Let's wrap up with the strategies that actually lead to success. Because it's not just about knowing the rules of the game, right? It's about how you play it. Let's kick off with the must-dos. Your records, they need to be flawless. I mean, every contract, every invoice, every single email. Always, always maintain professional communication and document every single interaction. And most importantly, know your contractual rights inside and out and get a lawyer involved as early as possible. And on the flip side, here are the common mistakes that you want to avoid at all costs. Neglecting your paperwork? That's a fatal error. Same goes for failing to comply with the specifics of Romanian law. Using aggressive or threatening language will absolutely backfire on you. And above all else, never, ever, ever miss a legal deadline. You know, if you take away just one single thing from all of this, let it be this. Success in debt recovery isn't about getting lucky. It's about careful preparation and executing a clear strategy right from day one. So, this all leaves you with one final, crucial question to ask yourself. Is your strategy built for a quick resolution, or is it built for a long court battle? Because your answer to that one question is going to define every single move you make from here on out.